You absolute bloody legends. Welcome back to another episode of Fat Chat. Matt, you're wearing the same jumper as last
Still
week.
cold then.
Still
it's
cold.
Obviously still cold in
You
Perth.
only own one jumper, and I only own one jacket as well.
Jacket. Big puffer jacket too,
I've got the jumper underneath as well.
Starter.
I actually get criticised for this jacket. People go, you wear it all the time. And I'm like, because I've got there's a couple of photos on photos that I posted.
To anybody, we live in Perth, right? We get the cold for a couple of months a year.
You don't need that.
You don't need
heaps
of jackets.
But not just that. I'm like, I don't think I actually do wear it that much.
You
But
just photoed in
I
it.
think people remember it because of the colour. And you go, oh, that's that
It's
jacket.
a different looking jacket too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like made from a couch.
Yeah,
It's got
yeah.
like
Corduroy. Yeah, that's it. Corduroy.
Corduroy.
Yeah.
Corduroy?
Corduroy. Yeah.
The corduroy. Yeah, it's made of the corduroy. Yeah, nice.
Pronunciating well today.
We've actually got something sent in, Matt. You're going to love this. This is from Isabella. So this is from a very, very dedicated Fat Chat listener.
We love them.
Isabella has contributed a whole bunch of the show. She's been listening from the first season all the way up. She's always been contributing, so we love that. So we've got this little message, actually. So she says, "Hey, Body Maj, I purchased some new running shoes. Finally back onto the Asics. What the fuck was I thinking before that? This morning I thought, what the hell? Let's give running a go. I've never been a runner. I fucking hated cross country. Anyways, I tried going super slow and it worked. So happy to achieve something today that I never thought I could do. Can't wait to see how far I can take this. Thanks so much, legend. All because of you and Matt."
Thank you, Isabel. Isabella or Isabel?
Isabella. That's a great message.
That's a lovely message.
Well done. That's awesome.
And well done for slowing it down.
Yeah, that's all you need to do.
Yeah, I'd say well done for buying Asics, but they haven't responded to my emails yet.
Well, we can stitch in whoever you end up signing with. That's totally fine.
I'm a free agent still, but
free agent, everybody.
Yeah, I like that. Just have a go.
Have a go.
Bored of shoes? Sounds like she didn't overthink it.
Yeah.
Get running. Just run within yourself.
Exactly.
Just think about
you don't have to overcomplicate it
the whole time. And I thought it during racing in Cairns. Could you go faster? The answer should be yes. And then you're in control.
Yep. I love that.
And you pull up quicker.
But it's just about not overcomplicating it and just go, cool, you got some shoes, great. Let's keep in with
You don't need much stuff to get running.
You don't need much stuff. No. And also, it's just stay nice and slow, stay within your ability, get out there and go. And we bloody love the contribution to the to Fat Chat. We love that.
We do. And I'm going to give an example quickly.
Yeah.
So if my race pace, say off in an Ironman is 350, 345 per K.
Yep.
When I go for runs and easy runs, I'm 5 minute pace per K.
Really?
Yep. Substantially slower.
Right.
So it's just purely about time. So, I could run with most people at that pace too.
So you run, hang on. So what session do you run at 5Ks? At 5 minutes?
All my easier running
I'm
happy. Is 5 minute pace.
Still pretty fast. But
4:45, 5 minutes. Yeah, I know, but my threshold, for instance, is 3 minute pace.
Right.
So it's like, it's notably slower.
Yep.
Right. And it's okay.
Yeah, wow.
I'm just building. It allows me to then actually perform well in the sessions that matter.
Yeah.
Because you're just doing the easy stuff for efficiency and conditioning in the lower legs. And you actually, the slower you run, there's more ground contact time. So you actually condition your lower leg even more.
Yep.
Because you spend more time with your weight on the ground. But yeah, you're not as active through the hips, and then the slower you run, you don't engage the hammy so much, and that's the danger.
Yep, that's the
hammy and glutes. That's where you can tweak things, and calf as well.
Totally. It actually got me thinking, that message though, because people, Isabel's saying she didn't like running, she fucking hated it, tried it, and got some good advice for it, and now she's loving it, and is like, oh my god, look how good this is. Has there been an example for you for any sport or exercise stuff or anything like that you hated doing something, but then all you needed to do was just get a little bit of consistency behind it or get the right advice for it, and then everything clicked and you were like, oh my god, I love this?
Swimming was always I just hated going to the pool. Yeah, I was terrible. So it's like when you're not good at something,
you look like you hate swimming.
Yeah. You're not. You don't. If you're not progressing quickly or anything, it's never going to be enjoyable. But you just got to. Some things you have to do for a long period of time before your body will start to understand how it should be moving. Because everybody's different, right? So everyone moves differently. But yeah. Well, I still remember the early days, but now it's
doesn't feel like that.
No, not when I'm swimming 50 minutes for over the 3.8K. It's like, Yeah, I enjoy the training. I still enjoy the challenge. It's still hard, but it all should be when the days that you got to push yourself.
Definitely. Well, for me, it was running. Definitely for me. Like when we started doing stuff, I was just like, oh my God, I have to do another run because everything hurt. I had little injuries. It just felt so hard. But I think it was, and I find this with clients even in the gym or for weight loss stuff or whatever. If you're not good at something, it sucks to go and do.
Yeah,
it's like
absolutely.
the most demotivating thing ever. You're like, I'm no good at this. Great.
And you'll try to justify why you shouldn't do it.
Yep.
They're just excuses.
100%.
As soon as you start justifying, if I do this, then this, it might impact this. It's like, no.
Nah.
If you don't enjoy, say, running, and you do enjoy going to the gym, instead of, if you were meant to run and you're like, if it was a gym session there, would you go and do that? 100%. But because it's a run, you'd be like, nah.
Yeah.
It's like I coach athletes, and when it's swim days, they miss swimming. But if it's a bike or a run session in the morning, always.
Yeah.
There's never a thing. It's like, going to the pool, especially in the winter, is harder.
Hard work, yeah.
But you still got to do it.
You still got to do it. Exactly right. But it's often just that start bit when you're not good at it.
Yep.
That's the most hard bit, but that is the most important time to just...
Consistency, right?
Consistently.
You never build consistency if you don't do it.
Exactly. Yeah. And then once you start to see the improvement with whatever it is, that's when shit starts to click because you're better at it. It's like, it's literally, it doesn't matter what skill or what it is that you're wanting to try to do. When you're bad at it, it sucks to do. When you get better at it, it's way more fun to do. So it's just like about getting that
speaking a different language.
Yeah.
Right? You don't get better by just reading it. You got to go and practice it.
Exactly.
Be in that environment, and it just takes so long, right?
Yeah.
It's the same. It's anything, it's all trainable. So you just need to stick at something for a period of time.
Exactly. But any other messages from any of the FatChat listeners?
Please.
Get them sending in. We'd love to hear that. Thank you, Isabella.
Fill our mailbox up.
Absolutely.
Even if it's all from you, Isabella. Keep running. Quick little break here, guys. It's Matt and Gerard here from FatChat.
Hey guys, if you haven't already, would mean the world to us if you could follow, like, or subscribe to any of our channels on any of the platforms that you're listening to, because it just goes a long way into growing the pod, getting more people on, coming back and doing this every week, and we obviously love to hear from everybody too. So if you haven't already, make sure you follow, like, subscribe. It'll take you 15 seconds. We'll owe you a favour. You can let us know what that favour is at some point. When Matt's walking around, you can ask him for whatever favour that you like, and he'll definitely do it.
No, ask Maj.
If you come up and say, look, we've subscribed and we followed, we'll owe you a favour.
I'll do it.
Thanks, legends. Back to the pod.
Hey guys, Dan from BackChat here. While Gerard's mum is a real doctor, this segment is for entertainment purposes only. For specific medical conditions, make sure you seek the advice of your own doctor.
Welcome back, Dr Maj, Dr Majic. Another segment, another episode. Welcome.
Thank you, Gerard.
Week's been well?
Yeah. Been very busy.
Very busy? That's good. It's the last time I've seen you. That is great to hear. Well, this episode here, instead of I've got questions, but we're sort of covering a bit of a topic. Yep. Today. So, one thing that's obviously, massive and being spoken about more and more at the moment is people's mental health and dealing with depression. I've had my own sort of struggles with it as well that I've spoken a little bit on the podcast about, but not in depth. But on my socials, I have done a little bit of stuff from. And it's one of the most common questions that I get sent in is sort of around, depression and mental health. So, we're just going to cover a few topics on that one today, which I thought would be important. So as a doctor, how often do you see people come in with depression or with mental health issues?
Oh, it's one of the most common presentations to general practice.
Yeah. What do you reckon? 1 in 4 patient, 1 in 2? What is it?
Oh, in a day, you mean? Well, often people have mental health issues along with other issues as well. So, you don't see things in isolation, but, often, sometimes, certainly several times a day, people, will get patients that come in that are feeling very sad specifically or very anxious or just not coping with what's going on in their lives. Yeah.
Yeah, right. And with depression, what are the genetic, because there is genetic factors to it, right? But a lot of it is also circumstantial and that sort of thing as well. What's the genetic factors that affect it?
Yeah, well, if your parents have suffered, or either or one of them, or both of them have suffered from mental health issues in the past, specifically bipolar disorder or schizophrenia, but sometimes even just depressive episodes, then it makes you a little bit more prone to those.
Why is that? Do you know?
Well, certainly for things like schizophrenia, there are certainly genetics that are involved there. And I'm sure there is for people that suffer from bipolar disorder, obviously, and certainly depression. So things are certainly passed down in the way, but also environmental factors as well. The way that you've been shown how to cope with different situations, and the supports that people have around them. There's a lot of environmental factors for sure.
Yeah, most definitely.
Personality factors as well, which are often inherited.
Yeah, for sure. And then how do you know, I guess what you'd be seeing and a lot of people would come to you and ask about is antidepressants. How do you know if antidepressants are going to be the right thing for you to use to get yourself better?
Okay. Well, they're certainly not the first line. They're not. It's not a first line treatment. You don't just say, here's a script for an antidepressant. I mean, if you came in with a problem that you were fairly depressed, I guess my first thing would be just to make sure you're safe and to see if you're at risk of self-harm or in any way, and to find out, what your supports are, to make sure you've got a good lot of people around you who you actually turn to at home. Make sure that they're aware. So I'd be encouraging all those sorts of supports. And then, then we'd be looking into the issues. So how serious is this for you at the time? What have you done before? Have you ever been depressed before? What have you done before? What are your, what are your strengths? What are your coping mechanisms? So, it's very important to empower people, because everyone's coped with things in their lives.
Yeah.
To say, well, hey, that worked before. Could that work now? Then also we'll be looking at, other things apart from medication, things like exercise we know is very helpful for your mood. It's very hard when someone's feeling very low, though, and motivated to get them to exercise.
So that's right. Sort of this loop of and I think we've spoken about it when we, sort of covered antidepressant stuff before on this segment. It's okay, well, the antidepressants might help, but the other stuff is actually what's going to help too, but you can't feel motivated or have the energy or the capacity to even do that to get you off the bottom of where that is.
Well, that's right. And certainly if people are very low, I certainly include that medication as part of the jigsaw. I always tell them it's a jigsaw. You've got you've got the things that you do at home with your friends and your family, supports people that know you. Might have your exercise. You might have all the other sort of nice things you do for yourself, simple things like change your sheets. That makes you feel good. Buy yourself a nice magazine or nice bar of chocolate, whatever it is that does it.
So real basic little things.
Yeah, basic things. Go for coffee with some friends. Just do nice little things for yourself. Maybe look at the stresses and try to change those in some way. But the antidepressant medication can be a useful adjunct to that. If your motivation's very poor, you're not eating, you're not sleeping. You're feeling anxious and nauseous all the time, can't get off the couch, you're losing weight.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of...
So it's kind of just gets you off the bottom so you can do some of the other things, but on its own, it's not going to fix the problem, right?
Certainly not going to fix the problem on its own.
Yeah.
No, definitely not.
Yep. So there's so many different types of antidepressants as well. And why is there so many different types?
Yeah.
How do they affect you differently? How do you pick what one's actually going to be right for you? Is it gender related? Is it how do you pick it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, and that's a very great question, because sometimes I'll start someone on antidepressant and I get them to come back in 2 or 3 weeks, see how they're going, and it's done nothing for them, and they'll often take 3 weeks.
I was going to say, does it take 2 or 3 weeks?
But it's 6 weeks really for its full effect. Really.
Mm-hmm.
But in the first 3 weeks, you should see something. And, if you see some improvement in symptoms, then sometimes it's a dose-related thing or it's just time. We just have to wait. But for some people that come in at 3 weeks, one, they've not been able to tolerate them. They've got terrible side effects. They can't sleep. They feel agitated. So in those ones, we think, no, we'll take you off and we'll try something else. So very recently, there's been more tests available, and they call that pharmacogenomics, so that you can actually do a blood test now. Unfortunately, not covered by Medicare. You have to pay for this test to actually check a whole lot of different medications to see what would actually suit you.
Oh, really? Wow.
It's about 80 different.
How much does that cost?
Yeah, I think it's more like $400 or $500. Yeah.
But shit, it'd be worthwhile doing if you're going to get the right one straight away. Because some people that I've heard and they've spoken to me, it's they'll be on antidepressant for, I don't know, 6 months or 12 months. And often with, like, say, female clients, they'll gain a bunch of weight. Like, that was one side effect. And then them gaining weight is actually making them feel even worse about themselves. And it's sort of like this other little cycle of it. So I guess if you got, like, the right one to start off with.
Yeah, well, I think that's right. It certainly helps. So you're not having to jump between different classes. Not sure if it will actually stop the possible side effects of like weight gain, because that actually improves your appetite and the rest of it. But it certainly stopped the nasty side effects that people might get from antidepressants, because you can go straight to that medication rather than having to go through maybe 2 or 3 different ones. There's a big group of antidepressants called SSRIs, so they selectively stop the breakdown of serotonin, which is a hormone in your brain, or a neurotransmitter rather in your brain. So that's the ones that we tend to use, and it increases that by stopping it getting broken down, and you feel happier, you feel more in control. So that's the big group of medications. But there are others that also work on other neurotransmitters. But I think it would be great if that sort of test was available, and it's just really in its infancy now in terms of starting out being offering it. Yeah, it's a blood test. Yeah, and so I can see this is where we're going to be going. Yeah, with a lot of medication.
And I'm just going to say that's not just specific to antidepressants. That's for like antibiotic stuff and for other medications, or like
for blood pressure medications, for anti-epileptic medications. There's a whole lot and it's just going to be an increasing sort of resource that we're going to have, and looking forward to be able to use that. But at the moment, all we can do as generally has been just to try the common ones that we know, look at this possible side effects, look at that patient's profile, what's important to them. Is it if it's not gaining weight, then we'll be careful not to put them on one that's more likely to do that. If it's sleep, we'll give them one that's more likely to help them with sleep. So
interesting. There you go. And like you said, it's just so hard to. It'd be hard to work out exactly what to pinpoint without knowing that test. So that'd be crazy. But like my own experience with it, you've sort of pretty much everything said. That was almost like the order that it all kind of went in for me as well. It was sort of like sort of started last year feeling real down. Yeah. Very much tying my self-worth into all the work I was doing. It wasn't quite going to plan, and it sort of came into this spiral, and a few other things as well, like personal life stuff. So sort of came into this spiral, I was feeling so bad. And like the first person, and I'm so lucky obviously that I've got you and Dad's a social worker as well, mental health social worker, like two of the most equipped people ever to deal with whatever comes up with sort of mental health wise. Other people are not as fortunate, but like the actual order that it went in for me was I had to, as soon as I told people about it, that was like the first proper step.
Yes.
And then the first thing was, all right, cool. Well, let's get you talking to someone. So then I spoke to psychologists, and then did like sort of weekly or fortnightly stuff with a psychologist. And then it was have some medication, and that sorted out. And then it was get back to like the real basics of everything, because like my exercise wasn't quite on, and my food, and I wasn't sleeping, and all that sort of stuff. And then from that's when it was just that progression. It wasn't like all of a sudden everything changed. It was just like every day it just did get a little bit better.
It was a really tough time for you, wasn't it? But you did really well. But I mean, you're right. It's about using all the other resources you've got and all the other people around you who know you well and can support you. But it's a really tough thing to go through, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. And I think that like the thing for me that helped big time was having something new to do as well. And that's how I started doing. That's why I did the Ironman thing. It was something totally new because like even, my whole life is exercise, but me going to the gym and me exercising, that wasn't even bringing me any sort of, it was giving me nothing, even though I was doing it still. So then that's why that was so powerful for me, I guess. And like, it was, oh wow, this is the reason
that's
why I'm
where
doing
Matt stepped in.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's crazy, eh? And then Matt, and then Matt's, that's how we got involved with Matt. So yeah, it's so crazy. And then it's sort of like the self-talk that I was having totally changed, but it was just a little bit by bit.
Did you find the psychologist was instrumental in that?
Yeah, for sure. I think the psychologist, but it was also big time Matt and doing his stuff, but then it was also, you had to just, I think for me, you had to prove to yourself what you were saying, you know what I mean? Because it's all very well, because like, you go to the psychologist and that she was like, okay, we need to change your self-talk. And at the time, I'm just thinking, my whole self-talk is literally, you're fucking shit at what you're doing and this is fucked and blah, blah, blah. And like, it was just so neat. It was just nothing positive, even though stuff probably wasn't as bad as what I thought.
We are our worst critics, aren't we?
Yeah, big time. And I was like, fuck. But And then from that, she's like, okay, we need to change that. But you can't just stop saying that. And, you know, she gave some exercises and that sort of thing.
Some sort of mantras to...
Yeah. But like it didn't sit with me, that didn't grasp me until I started doing the training stuff. And doing the training stuff, because I was seeing improvement with that, right? I was going, and then I would do, you know, some swim that I never thought I could do, or some bike ride that was fucking hours long.
So was that achievement?
And it was the achievement, and it was like, oh shit. And the thing that the mantra thing or whatever that changed your self-talk was, I was going, man, you're a fucking gangster. Look at this. Like, who else is out here doing these rides? You can do this, you can do that. But I needed proof before I could change the self-talk stuff. But it came with changing the behaviours and exercise.
When I say to people, you just do, even if you just achieve one thing in a day, don't set yourself up too many things. If you can get out of bed, you know, get dressed, you know, put your makeup on. If you wear makeup, you don't have to put makeup on, Gerard. But you know, just and try to do one thing in a day. You know, whether it's, you know, just doing a couple of hours work and then allowing yourself a bit of a rest, or, you know, doing a little bit of stuff around the house. But don't set yourself too many things. Just, you know, small goals and make them achievable. And I think that is right. That sense of achievement, that sense of control you get back in your life. You know, it's about controlling what's going on, I think.
Absolutely. Well, if anybody that's listening to this that's going through any sort of mental health stuff, you're feeling flat, honestly, the best thing that I ever did was just actually start talking about it, and then everything got better, because like I said, I could do some of those steps, and like, you know, it was the biggest weight off my chest. So if anybody's out there that's feeling that way, make sure you tell your family, your friends, or your GP.
I was just going to tell you the Lifeline number as well. Lifeline is a number that's free call. You can call and talk to anyone, talk to a counsellor at any time. Their number is 131114. So if anyone is experiencing any mental health problems, make sure you do call that number, and also your GP, talk to people around you, make sure people are aware.
Yeah, love it. Dr Majic, thank you so much for coming on in, and love your work as always. Maddie, you know what this is? You hear this, everybody?
I'm not going to respond.
This is 1 kilo of fat. Have a feel on that. Oh, I got him. Yes. Yeah. It's got a little bit of dusty stuff on it. It is. It's the most disgusting prop. It's the most disgusting prop going around. I'll have that back. Thank you very much. It actually was. Yeah. You can get like the 5 kilo fat one as well. Right. Even bigger, but like that's like, it's 5 kilos.
Just for viewing.
It's just for like a prop. I use it all the time. Anyway, this is what 5 like kilos of fat roughly looks like on somebody's body. 1 kilo. Yep. This is 1 kilo. So to make 1 kilo of fat, roughly, you have to be in about 7,500 surplus of calories to make 1 kilo, right? So like when people are coming in and they're like going, oh, you know, I don't know why I'm, you know, gaining weight, or like, you know, how this is happening, because my diet's pretty good. And like, to put it into perspective, this is sort of like how much food. I've got all this food here. So I've got 2 boxes of chocolate. I've got a whole packet of burger rings. I've got Doritos.
Big night at the Majic tonight.
Oh man, this is just my prop box. I just have all this stuff in for all video. I got a whole thing of Oreos. I got this muffin. I got Pringles. I've got a whole packet of the Monte Carlo like biscuit things. We've got the shapes. We've got Kit Kat. We've got all this stuff here, right? And that equals around about 7,000 calories, right?
Right.
So if you're looking at that, you're like, how the fuck am I gaining like a kilo a week? Because I don't go through this. Like, you have to eat this, not just eat this, you have to eat this over your regular calories, right? So like, it's not just, say if it's, you know, you can have 2,000 calories, you got to eat over that amount to gain 1 kilo. That's a lot, right? And then when I say that to people, people are baffled and they're like, I don't eat that. But this is like a little bit more how it actually happens, how you gain 1 kilo, because you only just have to be a little bit over each day. And then you look back in a week or 2 weeks and that's accumulated pretty fast. So this is actually more realistically how it happens. So let me get these numbers right. So first one, our favourite, aioli sauce, right? Yeah. You put a little bit of aioli, maybe you have it like 3 or 4 times a week, just 1 serving. That's 600 calories.
Yep.
Right? Bang. 600 right there. Easy. Next one, we've got a muffin. How much is in that muffin, you reckon?
Calories?
Yep.
300?
450.
450, yeah.
Right, you have 1 muffin at work. Bang, that's 450 the next day, right? Whack. Next one, we've got some Oreos. We pop these down the podcast studio, down the office. You have 2 a day. That's another 125 calories each day. Bang, right?
Yeah.
It's almost like, what's that? 400?
almost 1,000.
Yeah,
or just over now. Sorry.
600 cows. 600 cows. Then bang, we get into some chips. We've also got the chips laying around. You just have a handful. Maybe you have like only a handful, not even a bag, right? That's another 600 cows over like 4 days, right? Bang.
Yeah.
We're racking that shit up. We're following along. The next one, you're gonna actually. I didn't bring any little nuts. Have a couple
yeah.
Grab a little nut from the.
Bit of bang for buck.
Yeah, bad there, right? Bang, bang. Have a little bit of them. You're gonna love this next one. Where is it? Here it is. Oh, I thought you were drinking it. A can of Coke. Whack.
It is a good one too.
Regular can of Coke, right? You have one of them every day, or not even every day. That's 1,000 cows. Bang, just like in liquid.
You can hit 7,000 pretty easy.
You can hit that shit
surplus.
so easy, right?
7,000 surplus.
And then, not even including the weekend wines.
Wow.
Whack. You have, let's say you have 4 wines over the week, which that's pretty mild for most people. 125 cows per glass. Pick your poison, whatever one that you drink, about 150, 100, 150 cows, right? And then you haven't, I actually forgot to, still got it in there. Sorry. It's got, say, Magnum ice cream. It's very,
It's a melted.
yeah. So I was like, before I left today, I was like, I get all the food and do the maths and whatever. I was like, take that out the packet. I just put it in the bottom of the bag. So,
oh, wow.
So this one's done. This one's well
it's
done.
Going in the bin.
Let's say you have one every day. Man, that's like 2,500 calories if you have.
For the week.
A week. So just in that's already equaled 6,500 calories.
That's just having a little bit extra a day.
That's only a little bit extra each day, right? And some people have more. Some people drink more on the weekends. Some people get a kebab on the way, right? And that's assuming that people's main meals are okay.
Yeah.
Which most people's main meals are also not okay. Plus they're doing this shit, right? So I sort of wanted to highlight that and just be like how easy that can be to put on 1 kilo. But what to do is like some strategies to get around that, because it is totally fine to have whatever foods that you're enjoying, but in moderation for it, as long as it's fitting in with the rest of your diet too, right?
Yeah.
So if your main meals are fucking shit, can you be affording to having this stuff as well? No.
Or even if your main meals are substantial, but they're the right size, unfortunately you just can't add.
Yes.
Have a bit little. Oh, I ate well tonight because I had salmon and veg and rice, but that can still be an excessive amount of calories if you go too big, and so it's like, well, then doesn't mean you can have half a block of chocolate.
Exactly. Plus a little Kit Kat here and there. Like it's just like, it just adds up and creeps up on people so quickly, because 7,500 over seems like so much. You're like, holy shit, I do not binge that much. No. But it's the accumulation of it, just like this, that's actually what happens. So like, to counter that, one, make sure your main meals are on point, right? So like what would be like some of your tips for, if you don't want to maybe count calories, you don't want to go down that way, what's some good general tips to get your diet just that little bit better?
Yeah, plan to eat good foods more frequently.
Yeah.
Through the day. Don't
your main meals, I think. If you hit your main meals, because like people skip breakfast. Yeah, that's not fucking good for you.
No, don't. You're not going to go intermittent fast. You're not going to learn. Your body's going to take ages to learn all that technique. So don't do that. Eat correctly from the time you wake up so you have a good energy supply through the day, because then if you go and drop and you dehydrate especially, you then think you're hungry. Always run down a bit of water first. Drink consistent amount of water through the day, which will just add to a bit of, cellular activity as well, get a bit of inflammation to the body, good inflammation, just trying to increase this, the water in the cells. But don't cut a meal out to think you can then add
more
extra
stuff
in dessert, right?
Exactly.
Because then your body also, if you don't eat for say 5 or 6 hours, your body actually goes into an opposite and will start to try and hold all the food that you do eat. So you might put some good food in and then have some, crap extras, and you're actually going to hold all of it.
Exactly.
Right, and then retain a lot more weight or calorie than you should have.
Well, it's
your body's smart, so it'll outsmart you.
Yeah, and it's like, think of it, that I've done a video about it before. Think of like a glass bowl at home, right? You got a glass bowl, and that's your stomach, right? And you got to fill it up to feel full. If you drop a Kit Kat in the bottom of that bowl, that's filling it up this much. You need to feel full, right? So if you're selecting more foods that you can have much more volume of in your main meals, that's going to fill you up more. And then what not to do is, it's fine to eat this stuff, but don't eat it when you're hungry.
No,
That's
never.
I think probably the biggest rule for me
Yeah.
is when you're hungry, eat food. And then when you feel like eating this stuff,
Yeah.
that's okay in moderation.
As long as you've had your meal. It's like if you eat a high sugar dense food, a lot of the time you'll still be hungry.
Yeah.
And so that's why you keep going for it. You when you get sugar into your mouth, the receptor in the brain's, this is great. Like, let's have more of this. So, whereas if you have a piece of steak, you don't necessarily, your gums aren't reacting to the sugar, right?
Exactly.
So it just takes time for your stomach to digest it, and then you feel good.
And exactly that like selecting foods that take longer for you to feel hungry again, and like the satiety is lower, is really important, because if you have, you could very easily get through a block of chocolate, whack, but say, I don't know, what's an example? Say if you got 1,000 calories of steak, how much would that, how hard would that be to get through? That'd be hard.
Yeah, and then it would sit in your gut while it digests, and it's like, you feel like you don't need to eat again. Whereas sugar, just an hour later.
Yeah, exactly. Bang, you're ready
things
to go.
like acai bowls and
it's
it's trendy. It's actually so bad for you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to everyone that loves a acai bowl, or that style of smoothie bowl and stuff like that. Just
it's gone.
Be selective when you're having them, because they're more than a meal and they're very high GI.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. But anyway, I hope that highlights a little bit how easy that can be. And just by making some little changes to just your behaviors, or even, how you're thinking about it, whether it's like we just sort of touched on, making sure that when you're hungry, you're eating actual food, not this stuff that's here. This is totally fine to have in some moderation if you feel like it, not if you're fucking hungry. There's a very big difference there. And also just selecting food that will, fill you up, and, more whole foods you can eat much more volume of than all the stuff that I've got here.
Yeah.
But, and also stay off the piss as well. The piss is the killer.
Says the European shredder.
Yeah. Oh, man. I've been so good lately. I'm about to undo all the hard work. I'm about to definitely do this every day. Legends, thanks so much for listening to the podcast so far. This next little segment is part of our Friday guest episodes that we put just a small little snippet at the end of the episodes here for you to get a little bit of a taste of what's to come. The full episode with our fantastic guest will be out this Friday. Make sure you tune on in, listen, subscribe, like, and I hope you enjoy the little snippet from the episode coming out this week. Do you want to tell everybody what the big adventure is?
Well, I was just doing a little bit of research to see exactly when this
you don't
kicked
even
off,
know.
because I'm like, Gerard, I need your help, mate. I'm going on the Kokoda track,
so sick,
which is amazing. I've got a lot of connections to it. So, one of my grandfathers was on the Kokoda track.
Yep.
Of course, in Papua New Guinea, it was a major battleground between Australia and Japan in World War II.
Yep.
Horrendous conditions, fighting conditions, just dreadful. It's a jungle. And, but basically, people can undertake what the diggers, basically went through.
And it's like one of the, some of the football clubs do it for, like, they've done pre-season ones, they've done a few of them, that sort of thing. So it's like, it's a popular one to do for Australians, right?
From what I hear, you go full corporate and you basically stay in the Ritz-Carlton along the journey.
Yeah,
gotcha. And it takes you, it might take you 15 days to do, and you walk a couple of Ks a day. Or you can go military style.
Is that what you're doing?
Where you that's like a 3-dayer where you're doing 25 Ks a day and you're sleeping in the dirt.
Yeah, wow.
We're somewhere in the middle.
Gotcha. So a little bit of Ritz, a little bit of swag, a little bit of dirt.
Correct.
Yeah.
I would think more towards military than Ritz.
Definitely. We'll say that.
So 10 days going to take us, and 2 of those days we're in Port Moresby at a hotel. So it's 7 nights on the track.
Yep.
8 days, doing about 10 to 12 Ks a day, fully packed up. It's going to be difficult.
You got to take all your stuff with it. So, like, how does it actually work? So you fly into what city? Where does it actually kick up? Like, where's it kick off from?
Yeah, so October 1st, Port Moresby, night there to acclimatise.
Yeah.
I don't know, probably get a good feed in bbefore you get on the journey, and then
last beers, and
and then straight on the track. So it's a no phones type situation. And then you're back for a day back in Port Moresby at the end of it all. From what I've heard from people that have been on it, so you're right, some football teams do it. It's equivalent to winning a grand final. The people you do it with, the time it takes, and the time you're probably with your own mind, like a 7-dayer. No tech. That's a lot these days.
Yep.
So, there's a few reasons I'm heading out and doing it. But as I chat about it, people can actually do this with us, which is pretty cool. So Quinton Lynch, former West Coast Premiership star 2006, is
the Q-Stick's doing it.
Q-Stick's on there with us.
Wow.
Matty Spanger, Premiership player with Hawthorn 2014.
He's your good friend,
My
hey?
best mate, Matt Spanger. He's coming along. Dom Sheed.
Great.
West Coast. There's a fair bit of Premiership success coming along.
That's a lot.
And with those coming as well, Alex Witherden, Brisbane and West Coast defender now. So we'll all be there. There's about 20 of us right now. I think
that's a crew.
There's room for a couple more, pretty limited spots, but there's a couple more available. So you can, I don't know, hit me up on DMs. Health and Fitness Holidays on Instagram is sort of the crew that's doing it.
Yep.
But if you just hit me up direct, I'll send you in the right direction. So you can join it with us. But there's a few reasons I'm doing it. One's the fitness element, which you need to help me with.
Mm-hmm.
Number two is the tech and the mental side.
Yep.
And that kind of ties into the third. My brother, who passed away last year, he had huge knowledge and passion in Australian war history. Mm-hmm. And he would have just fucking loved to come on this trip with me. And so when the opportunity came up to go on it,
that's what really sparked it. Yeah.
Mate, I was like, difficult year for me last year, personally, mentally, and fitness-wise, and it just combines everything together to be able to do that. A little bit in his dedication and Jason's dedication, but yeah, also to just sort of reset the system a bit as well. Do something a bit bigger than yourself. Get yourself going again fitness-wise. Yeah. Get off tech and socials and all that bullshit that I have to live in. And you'd be listening
absolutely,
to me.
man, it's a lot.
You'd be listening to me thinking, maybe I might come on the Kokoda track.
Literally, it sounds great. But I think that you've just touched on it there, that to do something like that and a big endurance thing, whatever it is, whatever your fitness goal is or health goal is, you got to have a really strong why as to why you're doing it as well. Like just being like, oh yeah, cool, I'll go and start running. Oh yeah, cool, I'll go and do this, walk or whatever.
This is me. That's me.
But it doesn't, but it doesn't usually get you very far because you got to link it back to the why you're doing it. And, you just got to keep reminding yourself, because it's not just like you can just get out there and just do it. It's day after day after day. You're going to be in your own head. There's very other limited distractions. That's going to be tough. Yeah,
it's interesting about that, the why. Like, that's me, mate. 15 years elite athlete. Like, the why was always winning for me.
Yeah.
Like, if I don't work out and keep fit and play my role game day, I don't win. And so then that was my driver. Now I don't have that, mate. Like, that's why fitness for me is so difficult at the moment, because I don't have a real why. And it sounds terrible that your own health and fitness and mental health is why.
Yeah.
That doesn't actually get it done for me, which is, I don't know. I think maybe that resonates with people. I don't know. But for me, it's like I've got a choice between going for a run and not. If the why is just for me feeling a bit healthier, I'm like, I'm just going to stay here and do nothing.
Yeah.
It's easier.